Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Huda Qaimkhani and from Department of Microbiology, and today I'm going to present you a topic, conditional sentences. So let's begin. So first of all, we have to know that what are conditional sentences? Conditional sentences are those statements that discussing hypothetical situations and their consequences. Conditional sentences have basically two clauses. In the first clause, the condition is we talk about the condition, and the second clause we talk about the result of that condition. Conditional sentences have four main types. Number one is type 0 conditional sentence. Number two, the type 1 conditional sentence. Number three, type 2 conditional sentence. And number four, type 3 conditional sentence. So now we have to know that what are type 0 of conditional sentences. So here you can see that type 0 of conditional sentences is used to talk about those conditions which are universal truth. Universal truth means those conditions which are always true for all of them, for we, us, and for all of the people. And those conditions which are true for only for the speaker, which are not universal true, but it is true only for the speaker. There are two clauses in type 0 conditional sentences. The first clause is the if clause, means the condition, and the second clause is the result, the outcome. Both clauses always be in simple present tense. The examples of type 0 of conditional sentences is, the first example is, if I smells, it becomes water. So here it is the universal truth that if I smells, it always becomes water. We know that if when I smells, it becomes water. So here is the universal truth. If people eat too much, they get fat. This is the second example of type 0 conditional sentence. Then we can also use when by replacing if without changing the meaning of condition. For example, here we replaces when with the with if, then we make a sentence, when I smells, it becomes water. So here the meaning has not changed, but we replaces when with if. The second example, when people eats too much, they get fat. So we can also reverse the structure, means the main clause, the result clause come first and then if clause, but comma is not used. We can also use zero conditional to give instructions, orders, or to make request using an imperative sentence in the main clause. For example, if you need any help, please contact me. Leave the class if you don't want to study. So here are the instructions and orders. Then we have the second type of conditional sentences, type 1 conditional sentence. Type 1 conditional sentence is used to talk about real and possible conditions and their outcomes. Conditions, those which are real or possible to do, we talk about here in this type. For example, if it rains, we will not go outside. The second the second example is, if you don't apologize, I will never talk to you. There are two clauses in type 2 conditional sentences. The if clause means the condition and the result, the outcome. We can also use may, might, and can instead of will here. For example, if it rains, we may not go outside. The second example is, if you don't apologize, I might never talk to you.
Although it would be great if you could give few examples and just quickly try to wind it up. You're doing a good job, but
Then the third type of conditional sentence is type 2 conditional sentence. Type 2 conditional sentence is used in two ways to talk about imaginary situations, those situations which are not true, but we can imagine them. And its result in present or near the future. And the second way is to talk about unreal and hypothetical situations. Hypothetical situations or unreal situations are those which are impossible to happen, but we are talking in this type. It results in present or near the future. The structure of this type of conditional sentence is the first clause means the if clause, which are in simple present tense, and the second clause in which the first form of word is verb is used, and we use subject plus would. So examples of the imaginary situations are: example one, if I had a lot of money, I would buy you a car. So here I am imagining that if I had a lot of money, I would buy you a car. I know that I have not a lot of money, but I can imagine that if I had a lot of money, I would buy you a car. The second example of imaginary situations are: if he won a lottery, he would go on a world tour. Then you can see that unreal or hypothetical situations. The example of this way is: if I were a lion, I would eat you. This is not a real. I know that this is not a real. I'm not a lion, or I cannot eat you, but I can imagine, or I can talk like, if I were a lion, I would eat you. If she was in my city, I would meet her. Then the last type of conditional sentences are type 3 conditional sentences. Type 3 conditional sentences used to talk about an imaginary situation in past and its result in past, means those situations which are which we can imagine in past and its result in past. The structure of this type of conditional sentences is the first clause, the if clause, in which past perfect tense is used, and the second clause is the result clause, in which would, have, or the third form of verb is used. Example of this type of conditional sentence is: if she had studied hard, she would have cleared the exam. Then we can also use may, might, can instead of would to show the degree of possibility of the outcome. For example, if she had studied hard, she could have cleared the exam. If she had studied hard, she might have cleared the exam. If she had studied hard, she may have cleared the exam. So this is my presentation topic ended here. I hope you will understand. Thank you.